My name is Kwabena Chenchen. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, and one person has reportedly been shot dead in renewed chieftaincy clashes at Kato, a village near Brekum in the Bono-Ahafo region. That very situation happened this morning. Now, the shooting followed blockades mounted by the two factions to prevent people from Sunyani and Brekum entering the town. One faction blocked a road to protest the installation of a new chief, while the other faction blocked another road leading to the town in retaliation. Now, they pelted stones at each other, but this degenerated into exchange of gunfire, which led to one person being hit. Bono-Ahafo regional correspondent Precious Semevo is joining me now on phone with details of this very story. So, Precious, what more do we know? Okay, so I'm told Precious Semevo is not ready with those details. We'll try and reach him once again on the phone if we have him. Okay, so Precious, I believe you can hear me now. I just wanted to know what more we know as far as this very issue is concerned. Precious Semevo, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, exactly. So what more do we know?
Yes, as of now, what we know is that, some people have been injured, about 3 of them, but as to whether any of them is dead, the police is yet to confirm that particular aspect of the dispute, the chieftaincy dispute that happened this morning at Kato, a suburb of Brekum in the Bono-Ahafo region. But we also have gathered that this chieftaincy dates back to, ages. And the Kato, chieftaincy seat has been vacant for about 16 or so years now. And it appears that history says that the two, brothers, in fact, they are twins. And one line has been the chief, or has been benefiting as the chief for decades now. And the other side also feels that it is time for them also to get their share, to become the chief. And that has resulted in the dispute for years now. Now, we understand that this has traveled to the Bono-Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs, even to the Ashanti, place, but they've not been able to resolve this particular issue. And as it stands now, the Queen Mother, who happens to be Nana Efiatre Abadio, wants to install, his son Owusu Ansa as the chief of Kato, and that is what the youth and Nana Amankona February Amuya is resisting. That is what led to the disturbances. Now, I've also gathered that the Queen Mother, ahead of this installation, wrote a letter to the regional command asking for protection, for them to carry on with the installation. But the police denied them that because they believe that the situation is not well resolved for one party to go ahead to do the installation. But it appears they decided to go ahead, and that is what sparked the violence this morning. Okay.
Earlier, the information we had suggested one person had been shot and was injured. Now you're telling us two others, making the number 3, were shot and are injured. What's the state of what's their condition, really? These 3 persons who were shot and shot by these persons.
Well, the information we have is that they were hit by guns flying from both sides of the divide, and 3 of them got injured. But as I said, we are yet to confirm if any of them is dead. But we understand that they've been taken to the hospital, receiving treatment.
Okay. So what has been the word from police as far as this development is concerned? What have they been saying?
Well, police is saying that the situation as at this morning was a mob action. Volatile. They couldn't start arresting people, but first needs to restore calm to Kato before proceeding to effect some arrests based on some information that they are taking. And the information I'm getting from the police is that they are on the ground and they are doing everything possible to restore absolute peace to Kato. Subsequently, they will be effecting some arrests.
Right. Finally, before I go, Precious, I just want to find out the general mood in the town. I mean, knowing that blockades were erected to prevent movement between Brekum and Sunyani. I mean, what's the situation now?
Well, we understand that the road that was earlier blocked has been cleared,
okay.
And drivers or vehicles moving to and from Brekum will have access to the road. And as it stands now, the situation is returning to normality.
Okay. Precious Semevo, many thanks for that update. And that was our Bronhafo regional correspondent bringing us updates on that chieftaincy clash that has led to the shooting of 3 persons whom we are now told have been hospitalized. The police officers, we are told, have been deployed to the area and are maintaining calm in the area as I speak to you. We'll be bringing you a lot more on this developing story in subsequent bulletins. But away from that, let's head to the courts, where we are told that litigants, lawyers and police prosecutors have deserted the courts on the second full working day of strike by judicial service workers. Here's a news desk report.
Justice delivery is at a standstill. Remand prisoners who are due to appear before a judge would have to wait in custody. Business and land disputes, as well as cases on human rights infringements, are all on hold as the court staff remain out of work. At the courts here in Accra, there's very little or no activity taking place. Similar scenes pertain in other parts of the country where only security men are at post. The workers called the strike to protest government's failure to consolidate their salaries and pay their outstanding allowances. Government has described the action as unlawful, but JUSAC insists they will remain out of work until government addressed their concerns. Employment and Labour Relations Minister has told the workers government is working hard to ensure they receive their due. But until this is done, justice delivery in the country will remain grounded.
Well, we do know that the judicial service workers are currently in a meeting with the Judicial Council. We are keeping our eyes on that and we'll be bringing you a lot more as and when we do have that information. But away from that now, and motorists and residents of Kasua and its environs should brace themselves for bad roads and heavy traffic as major routes between Kasua and Accra are closed. Now, the roads were closed to allow major works on the interchange to be completed. Joy News' Beryl Richter spoke to authorities and residents on the impact of this exercise, which began on May 21 and is scheduled to end on the 1st of June.
The $172 million Kasua interchange project, which should be completed by October this year, is also expected to significantly reduce travel time between Accra and Cape Coast. The road, which has been in use throughout the construction so far, will be closed for almost 2 weeks. Contractors say they need a time to mount beams that will support the overpass. Public Relations Officer for the project, Amadou Tuareg, assures motorists that there will be adequate security on those routes during the closure.
Department of Urban Roads, in collaboration with the MTTD department, headed by Aspo Bauer, are on the ground as I speak. By this time, that is by 9, they will be all over the place. They've brought men from Winneba to augment, men here so that they will be able to do, because it's a national thing, and then we didn't want to take chances. The police knows that Kasua is a crime-prone area. And with this, I'm not sure the district commander or the MTTD department or the divisional command will tell you that they are going to take chances. They will definitely, as I said, they've told us that some patrol teams are available, some from Winneba, to come and then help in that regard.
District Chief Executive for the area, Adam Nuhu, tells motorists not to be too worried about the closure because there are alternative routes.
If you look at the alternative routes created, it wasn't even existing in the first place. And it's a 24 kilometers route spreading from Liberia Camp to either Bojo Beach area towards Kokrobiti straight, without even going to the toll booths straight. That is how it was done. And this was carved properly because we are looking at how we can take off the load from the western region or central region to Accra. So that right from there, you just move. So clearly, though it's almost about 90% completed and it's being used. The bridge was intact. Everything is formerly we can't even cross that Okudu bridge. Now it's being crossed, so we don't have a problem there.
However, residents and drivers are already frustrated with the inconvenience. Some fear that the closure of the intersection from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. will have a negative impact.
It will hinder a lot of people. Workers would have to leave to Accra at 5. Students would have to get to class by 6. And then if they block the distance is already very long, and then the road is very rough. So then it's going to affect us in a lot of ways.
If you take dropping, we stay in traffic almost about 1 hour to 2 hours. We don't get any road aside where to go to where you are going, unless you stay on traffic before the time we reach. They say will come. They will direct only the middle lane, and the rest we are all staying there, so we can't get any chance to move.
Beryl Richter reporting for Joy News.
Let's now head to the Ashanti region, where we are told that anti-terror police squads are due in that region today, as authorities there craft new strategies to deal with the growing armed robbery incidents there. Now, they will join forces with officers in the Ashanti region to tackle the problem. 2 lives were lost just last week in armed robbery attacks, adding to the several cases recorded in recent time. Senior police officers in the region are due to meet and devise strategies to deal with the surge in armed robbery cases. Irasu Saridonko has been speaking to the public relations officer of the Ashanti Regional Police Command.
Well, let me quickly go into an interview with ASP Mohammed Tanko, who speaks for the Ashanti Regional Police. The question being asked is, we are expecting some men from the anti-terror. When are they arriving?
Yeah, they are arriving today to assist us with this program that we have at our hands. And, let me clarify this, because some people appear confused. That's why is it that officers are coming from Accra to assist us? Is it that the issues are beyond us or what? No, it's the standard practice where the headquarters in Accra has some specialized persons in some specialized units where they go in to assess the regions where they have a particular challenge that they have to deal with. And we have come out to say that we have about 3 or 4 robbery gangs, 3 or 4 member robbery gangs in the region who are terrorizing people. And this morning we are meeting to strategize how to deal with them. And Accra, they benevolently have sent some men to come and assist us. And I think it is good, as I can say, Namdodo and Senkwine.
Now, we are also having the constitution of the regional anti-robbery task force. Tell us about that one.
Yes. We have made up our mind that these people, we need to tackle them and tackle them well, because for the past 1 month, all the robberies and the killings that have happened, we have very good reason to believe that they are the perpetrators. And so, as a serious police institution, we need to do some new things that will help us get to them. We have announced a 5,000 Ghana cedis reward for anybody whose assistance will help us to arrest them. We are going beyond that to do things on our own, as if the reward and the people don't exist, by establishing this anti-robbery squad. And the sole responsibility of this anti-robbery squad is to get these people arrested and to also tackle other robberies and violent crimes within the region.
We are seeing 2 robberies, let me say, where people have died in one particular spot. That is Ahinoma Kokobi on the Santasi Road. What makes this place so prone to robbery?
Yeah, robbers, when they are going on their expedition, they calculate. What can we do so that we don't get arrested? What can we do to enhance our success of escape? What can be the impediment on the way of the security as they come on us? And bad roads is one where we don't have police stations in a particular place, it's another. And when so those are things they consider. I'm not for being in this environment. They have bad roads. There's a new site, numbering of houses, it's in shambles and all that. So these are things that help the robbers. But that's notwithstanding, we have sent more men there to do more patrols there, and we are sure we will deal with it.
Right. So you had ASP Mohammed Tanko, who is the Ashanti Regional Police Command. Any other questions you want to ask?
No.
The sense of security for residents varies from geographical area, depending on where you are. Certain areas very peaceful, and security is high in that area. When you go to other areas, like you mentioned, the new sites, specifically outside the metropolis, That is where the concern is. Bofudi, Pokobini sites and other areas, that is where the concern is, where residents live in some form of fear. But then there are plans to get the visibility of the police within these centers to enable them clamp down on these activities. And that has been the strength of security by the people at the moment. Well, so that is it for...
To some more stories now, and some pupils of the Adam Chain Methodist Basic School in the Guma district of the Central Region have refused to go to school because they have no desks to sit on. Joy News has been following this very issue keenly, and the pupils explain that on a typical school day, they have to sit on the floor to undertake all class-related activities. Now, according to them, this routine sitting on the floor has left them with all sorts of waist and body pains, keeping them out of school regularly. My colleague Austin Brako has visited the school and is joining me now in studio with a lot more on what he discovered during his visit. Austin, many thanks for joining us. So indeed, how bad is the situation?
I think you know quite characteristics of us. Wherever the news is, we have to go there. Sure. So we paid a visit to the Adams Chain Methodist School, and to tell you the truth, the situation of the school is very, very appalling. You know, the structure of the school is deteriorating to the point that teachers will have to make do with a makeshift structure made up of aluminum roofing sheets for them to mark the class size of the children. And it is very scary because when you go to a typical classroom, for example, which houses about 70 people, let me say the nursery class, which is made up of 70 people, only 12 children have had to have a chair to sit on. So the remaining children will have to sit on the floor to write and do all sorts of things. And this, the parents have expressed their worry about what is going on. According to them, they've laid their complaint before the district assembly, and nothing is being done about it. And I spoke to the PRO, and he told me that he was formerly teaching the school. He was teaching the school, and he said they have written several letters to the management, or let me say the district authorities, and nothing seems to be doing. So, according to him, if there is anything we want to be done for the school, then it has to come from the district assembly. So
has there been any response or feedback from the district assembly as far as why they cannot supply this very school with the needed infrastructure for education to progress there?
I think when the news broke, we've had complaint that the district assembly has dispatched some of its men to the ground to ascertain the veracity of what we are saying. And according to them, when they got there, they realized that the school needs a lot of things, a lot of upgrades, so they are working on it. When we asked them about the timeline, they couldn't point to anything.
I see. So just on your screens a short while ago was that very situation my colleague Austin Powers was describing to you. Students are having to share desks over there, and for the over 70 students there, most of them who do not have access to this infrastructure need to sit on the floor, or even in some instances lie on the ground, just so they can study. I mean, it's forced quite a number of students there to abandon the classes and opt for other things. I mean, they suggest that they even, in some instances, have a lot of waist pains and body pains. So, that's the story we have. What's the update on that? What more are we doing as far as getting help to these students is concerned?
Now, what we've done is that we are meeting the district leadership, and they've called for a meeting. So we'll be meeting them to look at the roadmap with regards to how to solve the current situation. Because, like you are well aware, that some of the children have abandoned school, and this is a very serious, issue for us as a people of this country. You know, for children to abandon education, which is so significant for their livelihood, then it's a major problem. So we are going to meet them, and trust us, Joy News will follow everything to the letter. We'll make sure that we provide our audience with the best news.
Okay. Austin, many thanks for that update, and that was my colleague Austin Brako bringing us a lot more updates as far as that very situation is concerned. You're watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll return shortly with some more. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. Now, Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee is this afternoon meeting with some groups opposed to the Postal Packets and Telecommunications Bill, popularly referred to as the Spy Bill. The controversial bill will empower the country's security agencies to intercept messages relating to or linked to money laundering, terrorism, narcotics trafficking, identity theft, and generally for the protection of national security. Now, the hearing is currently being held in camera in Parliament, from where parliamentary correspondent Elton Bobe is joining us online now with a lot more details. So, Elton, if you can hear, okay. I'm told Elton's line has dropped there. We'll try and bring him back, if not now, maybe later on. But away from that, and shelter is perhaps one foremost basic human need, if not the most important. But in the sprawling metropolis of Accra and its outskirts, finding a roof over one's head can be a headache that comes at a high expense. Ordinary people can barely afford a roof over their heads due to soaring rent charges in Accra. Now, in the following report, Felix Akoyam puts a spotlight on the difficulties many Ghanaians go through in finding shelter, which may not be a decent one after all.
Housing is one of Ghana's biggest development challenges. Ghana's housing deficit stands at 1.7 million, according to the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. More than 15,000 housing units must be built each year for the next 10 years to deal with the problem. But with no strict policy to regulate the sector, the housing challenge continues to worsen, especially for low-income earning urban dwellers. In some parts of Accra, almost unimaginable affluence can be found side by side with nearly unthinkable poverty, a clear evidence of a gaping chasm between the rich and poor. This grim reality appears not to have eluded the two major political parties in Ghana, the NDC and the MPP. Hence, the two parties in the last 2 decades have come up with varied proposals in their manifestos in a bid to solve the country's accommodation deficit. For instance, the opposition MPP in their 2012 manifesto promised to build affordable housing units for rent across the country in partnership with GREDA. The housing agency will support the provision of affordable housing for Ghanaians eager to buy their own homes. Non-profit community-based housing development will be encouraged based on successful models in other countries. The governing NDC, on the other hand, promised to promote brick and tile manufacturing using the opportunity offered by the availability of natural gas offshore Ghana. Support the use of pozzolana cement in the construction of both public and private teenagers sleeping on the streets. But even more chilling is what I found in this slum, Sodom and Gomorrah, otherwise known as Old Fadama, the city's largest slum. Most people living here are migrants from the north who have come to Accra in search of better prospects, but only a few of them live the better life they seek. From dirty streets, choked gutters, and flimsy structures, poverty is all too obvious here. I have come to meet 17-year-old Nihad. Nihad is a senior high school graduate from Yendi in the northern region. She is here to find money to further her education. She has been living and working as a head porter for almost a year. Back in Yendi, Nihad was sharing a room with 2 people, her mom and sister. But here at Old Fadama, the number of people she shares a room with has increased significantly. It's akin to prison conditions. There is no mattress in this room. They sleep on racks and mats. More than 12 people live in this room. Oh, okay, that's how you sleep. I have been here for almost 10 minutes and I am already suffocating because there is intense heat in this room. Even with this fan up here, the heat is still unbearable. 12 people sleep in this room every night, and this is how they sleep. One sleeps at the other side, the other sleeps at the left side, the other sleeps at the right side, but you have to put your legs on the other person you're sleeping close to because the room is not big enough. And perhaps nothing really mirrors Ghana's accommodation problem, the severity of Ghana's accommodation problem, than the condition of young ladies like this Kaya is who live here in Sodom and Gomorrah.
And as Nihad explains, sharing a room with 12 people is difficult.
Sometimes you can get up and step on someone because you're a man in the room. The person will be insulting, shouting. Even if that is too late, like 12, 11, 10, 1. And the person got up, the person will be insulting because you step on her. Sometimes if there is light up, we'll just be lying down here. Because the way we're men in the room, we can't sleep. We can't sleep in the room. So some would come out and some would be in the room. Even those in the room today cannot sleep because of their warmth.
Her friend, who has lived here for only 2 months, shares similar concerns.
I
thought there were many rooms available for everyone who needed shelter. But when I came, I realized that many people were sharing single rooms.
But Nihad and hundreds of other people are living here because they cannot afford the escalating and prohibitive rent charges in Accra. For residents in this slum, living in a decent accommodation remains a distant dream. This is Odoko, a very popular residential area in Accra. I meet petty trader Lydia Annan. She lives here. 19 people live in this house. They share the same bath but have no toilet, a common reality in many old homes in Accra. Lydia has been living here for almost 5 years.
Oh, a higher part to extend say be a matching with the honor we yemini idea no. And we a problem, Kasua. Inti ma got I die nemuno, a man fall to toilet in the idea instead of toilet in a so bang.
The lack of toilets in this house is a big problem for us. For instance, if you are suffering from a stomach upset at dawn, that can be a trying moment for you if you live in this house. People continue to dump fecal matter in the gutter in front of this house due to the lack of toilets here. There's a public toilet close by, but they keep dumping it in the gutter. And even at the public toilet, they don't keep the place tidy, so I always feel uncomfortable using it.
Particular open time, just all my agents. Agents in Sobidu, we see Kasua, can't say when I get there, I was a gun would have been my Nipano, Echeno, Bisbe Fish, Yakotia, now the Sikanaye, Basani General problem.
In spite of this, finding a room in Nodoko can be a mountainous task. You can only get a room through an agent, and most of them are not trustworthy. They can take your money and spend it without getting a room for you.
So many meters, 700. 70 Ghana. Say 2 years in the tsunami pair, Namasama 2 years.
It's not up to me to determine whether we have done enough or not. It's up to the people of Ghana and the programs that we are putting in place to help reduce the deficits. And so I'm not in a position to say yes or no to what we have done. Through government-private partnership arrangements with Angu Resources, we are also doing 10,000 housing units at Amasaman. And again, we have also collaborated with Sati Real Estate to do also 10,000 housing units. They have completed about the 500 units ready. It's on the market now for sale.
It is very sad that today, as a nation, we have this huge housing deficit and we are not doing much about it. People continue to get married and continue to produce children, and our population continue to increase. housing for the people is not going to stop. It's not a project where you call a contractor, give him a project, and he executes 1,000 houses, and then he walks away, and you think you have done something.
More on this story in our news analysis program, The Pulse, which airs at 3 p.m. on your Joy News channel. We are taking a break here on News Today. When we come back, we'll bring you updates in the world of business, sports, and entertainment. Stay on.
Now time to do some business, and the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has contracted multinational audit firm Ernst & Young to validate what is said to be interest accrued on the debt owed bulk oil distribution companies, BDCs, who in turn owe commercial banks. This is to facilitate the payment of the over $530 million debt accumulated as a result of subsidies on petroleum products and forex losses prior to the deregulation regime. The debt, according to the banks, is currently one of the biggest threats to their growth. Speaking with Joy Business, Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Moses Asaga, said the process initiated towards getting the debt settled are at an advanced stage.
The NPA has come out with provisional figures in terms of interest accrual, and we have asked Ernst & Young to come and validate them. So it is because of this second request that probably is delaying the payment. But discussions have always been ongoing between Seaboard, Bank of Ghana Governor, at least the outgoing governor, the National Petroleum Authority, Ministry of Finance, and Ministry of Petroleum.
Well, the BDCs expect the debt to be cleared by the end of June. Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senor Jose, tells Joy Business steps initiated to clear the debt have so far been satisfactory.
Last week, Friday, we had a meeting to firm up the structure, and that's largely been done. So we are actually going to have to go through that process, bring some conclusion to the matter. We also need to bear in mind that there's no way come to a full conclusion if the audit itself is not completed. You don't expect to pay so much money. Our target date actually is 30th June, ceteris paribus, so we should have that done. It's largely a structure that moves so the debt that's it on the books of the banks from it being non-performing assets to more viable assets. So probably redefining the assets, and the banks have been cooperative and also willing to make some concessions as well, just like BDCs and government as well. So the audit would have to be completed. The legal structure and all the other administrative procedures are ongoing. We hope we should conclude that before the audit comes out. So 30th of June is our target date. We are quite hopeful things will work out.
Senor Jose of the BDCs, and shelter is said to be a basic human need. But with the housing deficit estimated at over 1.7 million units, dozens of real estate companies have emerged to provide mortgage services, especially for workers. However, prospective owners are struggling with harsh economic conditions, making it almost impossible for them to realize long-term dreams. Real estate developers are therefore advocating an improved economy to enable them provide affordable mortgages. Sales and marketing manager for Saka Homes, Kwabena Ado, tells Joy Business access to funding is the major challenge to the acquisition of homes in Ghana.
Out of 100%, it's only about 5% of the clients that purchase our properties who are able to come outright to pay, let's say, about 80% of the money cash. It rarely happens. It's the abroche for who are able to come down to, do that kind of purchase. But for the average Ghanaian worker working 8 to 5 at any organization, whether it's insurance companies, civil service, or everywhere, most of them are able to purchase through mortgage, and it's not everybody that even qualifies for it. The banks also have their let's say challenges, because when you talk to them, they let you know of the interest rates and the dollar and all those kind of economical terms, so they have challenges getting money for the people. So at the end, the interest rates will definitely go high, and when it goes high, that means getting that loans are going to be expensive. So sometimes that's one of the major challenges that I see, that most of our clients getting access to money, that funding.
So that will be it for business, but you can get more business on the marketplace between 1 and 1:30. Among the subject we'll be discussing, do you know that the mobile or electronic money transfers here in Ghana is illegal? That's according to a Parliamentary Select Committee in Finance. We'll be looking at that more on the marketplace, so don't forget to join us between 1 and 1:30 for more. My name is John Kojo Amwakun. Up next is your sport.
Especially welcome to the entertainment news segment of the news. My name is Gladys Osei Oredu. Glades Women Honors happened last Saturday, and we had Mrs. Grace Ame, founder of FC, among some other prestigious women who were honored for their hard work.
Recognizing Ghanaian women who have plowed and have made something out of their lives, have served humanity in spite of all the odds, and have been successful in their fields. I'm very happy that we are able to celebrate these women, because more often than not, they are not recognized. And for Claudia and her team to put this together, and of course the judges to put this together, shows that we still have people out there who recognize and acknowledge the work that women in Ghana do.
Tonight, even one young woman is inspired by the stories we've told about these amazing Ghanaian women, then what I seek out to do with my team would have been successful.
How long did it take you from the cradle to the grave of the show? And
Congratulations to all the women who positively contribute to the society. Now let's talk about Ghana meets Niger, and self-acclaimed dancehall king Shatta Wale put up a sterling performance rated by patrons of the event, and the side of it is the fact that Shatta tried to take off his jacket, and well, he said his watch was bigger than his head. But his wife, who was invited by Shatta Wale on stage to model whilst he performed Chop Kiss, says that she chose her costume because how she felt that day was to just feel sexy.
Every year he gets better and better. So I think every year has been my best, but this year has been my best so far. Like his outfit, his performance, everything was point. The outfit was Shamaran. Did you choose that? That guy was Shattering style.
No, but I think it was really good. Great performance as well. Right, what do you make of the song? I know there's a song, WMT, and he talked about how we did to live together in peace.
In that song. That is Michelle, Shatta Wale's wife, feeling sexy. And that's it. We come your way again at 4:45 with lots of entertainment updates at Let's Talk Entertainment. Thank you so much for your time.
And that's how we wrap up on News Today this afternoon on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. Remember, there's a lot more news when you visit www.myjoyonline.com.
You won't see how the day has moved.
My name is Kwabena Chenche Hendibuati. Remember, the marketplace is up next with John Amwakon. Many thanks for your company.